Welcome back. Hundreds of soldiers forced to pay back the government a year after getting paid too much during a deployment overseas. The payments range from $2 to $4,500. The Iowa National Guard blames the issue on the Fort Hood demobilization station, saying that some troops got active duty payments or entitlements after their active duty ended. And a man is forced to set up new memorials for his veteran brother after vandals take it down twice.
Whoever you are, you're a low-life scumbag, okay? This is a veteran. If you're out there and you're doing this, watch out, because you're not going to get away with it.
Well, the memorial outside Orlando, Florida, is dedicated to Richard Gianzano. The Marine Corps veteran and his girlfriend were hit and killed in a hit-and-run crash 2 years ago. His brother says he died a hero, trying to push his girlfriend out of the way. Well, enough time left for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Up first, the good. A snow day at the zoo. Look at this. This is Bebe, the panda, having a blast at the Smithsonian National Zoo in D.C., rolling around, climbing the trees. This, by the way, the first snowfall of the year, and Bebe enjoys it a lot. Well, now the bad. A woman joins her son behind bars after allegedly escaping or helping him escape from jail work detail. Now, police say they found Kathy Pence and her son Joshua eating at an IHOP in Georgia. He was serving time for burglary. Apparently wanted to leave work release and eat some pancakes. And finally, the ugly. A volleyball player literally falls in love. Watch Jenna Eller running to get a ball when boyfriend Kyle Pierce questioned with this volleyball. And of course, we can tell you, she said yes. Well, that wraps up this hour of Fox and Friends First and this week. Hopefully you have a great weekend. Fox and Friends First continues right now. Bye-bye.
All right, it is Friday, November 16th, and deadline debacle. The Florida recount missing slot by just minutes in 2 counties.
The voting lawsuits now piling up as Governor Rick Scott says it was intentional. So was it?
San Diego wants the wall that's going up. We're going to get the wall done anyway.
An impenetrable, physical, tall southern border wall.
Busted at the border. Troops adding barbed wire as thousands of migrants seek asylum.
How the president's southern border wall appears to be one step closer to becoming a reality.
And gobble, gobble, this Thanksgiving, eat more for less.
The good news about your Turkey Day feast. Fox and Friends First continues right now. City area
this early in the
season.
After
the snowstorm ever. I mean, because I think the city was so unprepared. We were eviscerated by snow and ice here in the Northeast.
I mean, you act like we got 4 feet of snow.
Well, we didn't. But I mean, there was highways completely shut down in New Jersey. The Port Authority. I mean, it was crazy here last night, and we survived. And now it's warm and rainy, and we're going to be all right. Good morning. You're watching Fox and Friends First. I'm Rob Schmidt.
And I'm Jillian Mealy. Thanks for joining us. The first ever statewide hand recount just ordered in Florida's hotly contested Senate race.
The decision comes after Broward County missed the deadline for the recount by 2 minutes. And the governor there, running for Senate, Rick Scott, now accusing Brenda Snipes of doing that intentionally.
Wow, Griff Jenkins is live in Lauderhill, Florida with what happens next. 2 minutes, Griff.
2 minutes. You may have been shocked by the weather, Rob and Jillian, but we were shocked by what happened there. We even handed out the pool money for the people that put 2:45 for the closest time to when they would get in under the deadline, but didn't happen. Here is Brenda Snipes, that much aligned election supervisor, taking responsibility for it. Listen.
According to what we were told from the Division of Election, our completion was 3:02. And it should have been 3 o'clock on the button. I have taken responsibility for every act in this office, good, bad, or indifferent. I've always held myself accountable.
The new numbers were actually good for Rick Scott. His communications director, Chris Hardline, tweeting Scott's margin increased by 865 votes. He went on to say it's time to end this. Time for Senator Nelson to concede, but don't hold your breath. That's not going to happen because we are headed for a recount. It's 7 a.m. You see volunteers already lining up behind me. There'll be 100 tables, 6 people at each table. That starts around 7 a.m. But in the governor race, that will come to an end finally. The margin of error between DeSantis and Andrew Gillum is 0.41%. The clear resolution will happen on a certification that may come on Monday. DeSantis putting out a statement saying those returns remain clear and unambiguous, just as they were on election night and at every point throughout this process. However, Mayor Gillum put out a statement saying while our race has fallen outside the window for a manual recount, we still believe that before election results are certified, the state of Florida must count every legally cast vote. But again, once the state certifies those, it will be Ron DeSantis as governor of Florida. Meanwhile, the recount will also continue in Palm Beach, although they're having more troubles trying to get it together. We're hearing that may happen sometime midday when they begin the process. Rob, Jillian?
I love the stories coming out of Broward County this week, Griff. You're right in the thick of it. Thank you so much. All right, more than 650 illegal immigrants busted in Arizona in just 2 days. Border Patrol agents in the Yuma sector say they're mostly family units or unaccompanied minors from Guatemala. Troops along the border hard at work awaiting the migrant caravan, the mass of the migrant caravan anyway, laying barbed wire and putting up barriers. The first wave of the caravan arriving in Tijuana, Mexico, just south of San Diego. It could take up to 6 weeks to process their asylum claims. Potential progress on the border wall as thousands more migrants are expected to arrive by the end of the year. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell meeting with President Trump before a funding bill expires next month. The Kentucky lawmaker says he expects to reach a budget agreement and is optimistic about securing the border. The president reportedly did not threaten a government shutdown over border wall money.
Nancy Pelosi growing even more confident about her chances of becoming House Speaker again.
I intend to win the speakership with Democratic votes. I have overwhelming support in my caucus to be Speaker of the House. I happen to think that at this point, I'm the best person for that.
So far, at least 17 Democrats oppose Pelosi for the leadership post. A vote in the Democratic caucus is scheduled for November 28th. The full House will vote to elect a new speaker January 3rd. A top White House advisor is putting rumors to rest about Chief of Staff John Kelly. White House Communications Director Mercedes Schlapp saying at this point, Kelly isn't going anywhere. It comes amid reports that Kelly is leaving over tensions with the First Lady's office and an uncertain future for Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen. All right, let's talk about this weather. The Northeast's first snowstorm of the season claiming at least 7 lives. A powerful nor'easter dumping heavy snow and causing a mess on the roads.
A multi-car crash on New York City's George Washington Bridge, a major artery to get to Jersey, adding to the traffic nightmare. Meteorologist Janice Dean is live in the studio tracking the storm's path. Safe to say the city was not ready for what this became.
The city was not ready. Even my husband, after he was shoveling, said, "Did you forecast this amount of snow?"
Yes, you did forecast.
So listen, we knew the storm was coming. It was always an overachiever.
Yeah.
Right from Houston, Texas, as it made its way up the coast and gave 3 inches of snow to D.C. to 6 inches of snow in Central Park. So it was a lot of snow in a short period of time, but you can't say we didn't know about it. It's just really hard to predict where those heaviest bands are going to come onshore. This storm was an overachiever since it began in Texas. So that's the bottom line is here in New York City, it was bedlam because the salts were not on the roads. People were getting ready to leave work at 3 p.m. and that's when the heaviest snow came. So you're going to see a lot of stories here in the Northeast about, people not prepared for the snow that fell. We got 6 inches in Central Park. Normally, that's not a huge storm. That's not a huge deal, but it came early on in the season and some folks city folks, government officials were not prepared. All right, here's the past 12 hours. We're not done yet. Parts of New England, interior northeast section, still a winter weather advisory, winter storm warning in effect. So we're still going to see several inches of snow as this storm eventually exits. The Great Lakes are going to see a little bit more snow out of this, and then we're going to get another clipper system moving across the Midwest and the Great Lakes this weekend. Here's your forecast today. So this storm will be out of here. Great news. But we are going to see some snow across the Rockies. And if I could just mention here, we are going to get some moisture into California next week.
Much needed.
That's good news, but it could cause some flooding problems in the burn areas. So we'll be watching that. Okay. On behalf of all the local forecasters, we're sorry we didn't get it exactly.
You know what burns you every time is that freaking rain-snow line. Because you're dealing with the ocean there. It's like you're playing with like a 20-mile thing.
That's right.
It could be all snow or all rain.
That's right. And it's so early on in the season that the ground is warm. Right. So that's why we say it's going to be a transitioning. But this one, boom, it was snow.
You got to be a wizard to get it right every time.
It's not an exact science.
It's not a chance. Thank you so much.
No, but we were warned.
Don't hate me.
No, we don't hate you.
We were warned.
SpaceX launching its 18th rocket of the year.
3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
The Falcon 9 rocket taking off from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida, launching a satellite into orbit for Qatar.
30 minutes later, it successfully landed on a drone ship back in the Atlantic Ocean. It's so cool that Elon Musk has figured that out. That's very impressive.
It is 9 minutes after the hour. Is WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange about to face charges in the U.S.? The new court document just revealed overnight and the possible impact it could have on Robert Mueller's investigation.
And Democrats take back power in the House. So is the era of obstruction finally over? GOP analyst Mark Smith says not a chance. All right, Democrats now in control of the House, but infighting over leadership and legislative differences seem to be keeping them from, at least now, attempting to set a policy agenda.
So are Democrats going to be able to get anything done for the American people? Joining us now is political analyst Mark W. Smith. Thanks for being here. Look, I mean, if they sit and do nothing for the next 2 years, it's not really making their case for 2020. So what do you see them doing?
Well, they're going to do a lot. But what they're going to do is mostly going to be motivated by public relations, grandstanding, virtue signaling. So they're going to pass feel-good legislation that will have no chance of getting through the Senate, never mind even getting through a Trump veto. And they'll pass all sorts of forms of gun control, free college for everyone, free health care for everyone, free puppies for everyone. And that's essentially what they're going to do.
We can all get a puppy?
I think they will pass laws that are along those lines. And I think that's their strategy. And then, of course, for 2020, they'll say, look, all this great stuff would have become reality if we simply had the Democrats controlling the Senate.
So they can say, we tried.
Correct. Yeah. And from their point of view, their strategy will be they're going to do a lot of stuff that may sound good, it may appear good, but really in the real world won't work out. But they never have to pay the political price of policies that won't work in the real world, because those policies they will pass in the House will never actually become law because it'll get jammed up in the Senate.
Well, here's the topic that you didn't mention, immigration.
Right.
Is there a chance that we see some kind of reasonable immigration bill that gets through both houses?
I think that's unlikely.
Do you think either side wants to get a deal on immigration?
I think there'll be a lot of talk about immigration, but I don't see any. At the end of the day, it's such a complicated issue. I mean, they can't even get the wall funded. I think unless the wall is fully funded, I don't think you'll be able to negotiate on the other topics.
What if the Republicans offer DACA and give the Dreamers the?
This is the same debate that's been going on for years.
It didn't happen
question is,
already.
if you look at history to predict what's going to happen in the future, it's basically suggesting nothing will happen in the future. It will be a lot of talk, a lot of debate, and at the end of the day, remember, the Democrats are literally calling for the abolishment of ICE, the immigration group that actually enforces the immigration laws.
Some Democrats.
Right, not all, yes. And we actually,
many in leadership, though.
That conversation has dwindled down a little bit, it seems. Do you think the wall ever happens? Do you think that they fully fund that?
I would like to think so, but as to whether or not that happens, I think, the Republicans on Capitol Hill need to be more forceful. But with the Democrats in the House, the answer is there'll certainly be no wall funding from their point of view, because they really want open borders. And the wall is, of course, antithetical to open borders, which is the new Democratic strategy and policy position.
When the Republicans got split up and you had the Tea Party come up, it made it tough for Republicans to get some things done. The Democrats now have, I guess, the socialist wing, the highly progressive wing. Are they going to run into the same thing, a split party?
I think it's less likely to occur with the Democrats right now because I think that the Democratic Party has become much more of the urban party. And I think that a lot of the values that we see with the urban Democrats in New York City, Chicago, San Francisco has really become the policy position of the entire party. I don't think you see that old split that you used to see 20 years ago where the Democrats from rural areas in the middle of the country had a different view on things like guns than maybe
the Joe Manchins.
Yeah. Exactly right. And I think that the parties have been more aligned along policy now than they used to be. So I think the Democrats will move in the House a little bit more in a uniformed way and not have an internal infighting about policy positions. I think given the chance, they would make sure there's open borders. Yeah. They would pay for everything that they, with taxpayer dollars, of course, not their money, and enact gun control if they had the shot.
Well, they're unified. Same. Mark, thank you so much. We appreciate your time this morning.
And a Fox News alert. The death toll rising in the California Camp Fire with more than 600 people now missing. A closer look at the growing devastation as President Trump prepares to head west.
And could Amazon's smart speaker Alexa be a key witness in a murder case? This is a crazy story. Kurt the Cyber Guy says it's a harsh reality, but it comes with a price. And he's here with just how much the smart speaker already knows about you. That's scary. All right, could Amazon's Alexa be a witness to murder? A New Hampshire judge ordering the company to hand over any recordings from an Echo smart device used in the kitchen where 2 women were murdered.
This is fascinating. Investigators believe Alexa could provide crucial evidence against the suspect. Here to weigh in is our security expert, the cyber guy himself, Kurt Knudsen. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. We knew this was going to happen, right? We knew.
How is this, possible?
Yeah, we knew that at some point a court would say, show us what's inside that Amazon Echo. Show us what Alexa has heard completely. So I don't know if you know this, but when you have an Amazon Echo and you're talking to Alexa, she not only records everything and stores it in the app in your device, but it also goes back to a server that's sitting at Amazon. So that server holds all of this data, everything you've ever said to her, every text that she thinks that you've read, that she's interpreted and translated. So a judge has ordered for a double homicide in New Hampshire that possibly, and they don't know that there's anything there, right, but just in case she might know or have heard something related to this murder and the suspect that they have in custody, they've asked to have the audio from that device between the period of time that they think the murder happened to be handed over to the court.
That is absolutely insane. I mean, I don't have one. It makes me not want to get one, honestly, that everything is recorded.
Like, everything is recorded, and it's you know, hey, for law enforcement in a case like this, if it turns out that you can actually pick up a clue from this device, well, hey, let's praise it. Let's give it some kudos for solving a crime, right? But I can't help but think the whole privacy issue for me at home. I just don't like Big Brother in my house. I don't want to be listened to constantly. And if it's going to, at least give me a lot more transparency about how the information is stored. Because if I knew when I first put in an Amazon Echo that it was going to keep this information in perpetuity, I might not choose to have that in my kitchen, in my bedroom, and throughout my house.
It's just like the cell phones when the government wanted to get the terrorist cell phones and, hey, Apple, open these things up. And it was just like that same thing.
It is. So we're caught between two things here. So for the sake of national security especially, we want the NSA and other organizations that are out to protect us and the government to have access to this sort of thing, right? But we don't want our own privacy to be given away.
Well, right. And Amazon is not going to just release people's privacy. Amazon, says they will not release customer information without a valid and binding legal demand property served on us. So,
in other words, they need a court order, and it's got to be pretty specific, not really broad, is what they're saying. And that's their way of saying, hey, please don't give up your Echo.
Yeah.
So that's their talking to the customers about that one. And then meanwhile,
what's this Google?
All right, this is actually kind of aspirational house was built in the San Francisco area. We're talking about a multi-million-dollar mansion, and in every single crevice of this house are all of Google Assistant kind of technologies that are both now and into the future, which include in every room a microphone, speaker, and camera associated and tied together with a smart home, right? So The idea is this, that in the future, our homes will be totally wired like this, of Internet of Things. And so here's a scenario. I'm the bossy husband on the way home. Jillian's the happy homemaker. And I can now PA through the whole house and say, hey, honey, I'm home in 20 minutes. Get my dinner ready. And you know what's great is she can now sass right back to it because it's got a microphone and tell me,
be like, no, on your way
you're
home,
taking me
pick
out
me up
and
dinner.
you're cooking, right?
But what if Jillian's having an affair?
Well,
and the cameras are all over the house.
Guess what? She's busted.
First of all, that would not happen. Thank you, Kurt.
She's very loyal. The fact is, this again is just pushing the envelope of technology. Where's the information stored? How does Google make its money?
Even what we're talking about anymore, Kurt.
Exactly how you think they make it through
You heard it here
advertising and
first.
knowing our privacy
Jillian
and selling
is
it.
cheating on her husband.
She is not. She is not. She's
just
a great friend.
Playing games. Don't worry. I'm trying to have fun. It's Friday after all. I don't like the idea of cameras all over my house with the spouse with access to
I'm not either. I'm into the. I think when you hear that Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook has taken electrical tape and put it on his camera,
Kurt,
you got to do it.
We love you. We got to go. We're going to get in trouble.
That was fun.
It is 25 minutes after the hour. See, they won't stop talking. Far-left socialists and centrists already butting heads over health care. Is this just a sign of things to come for the Democrats' agenda for the next 2 years? Our political panel on deck next.
All right, breaking overnight, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange reportedly facing secret charges here in the U.S., and they could have major implications for Bob Mueller's Russia probe.
Ellison Barber joins us live from Washington with more on the explosive court filing we weren't supposed to see. Ellison.
Good morning to both of you. So prosecutors inadvertently identified Julian Assange in a court filing in an unrelated case. This, according to the Associated Press, suggests that prosecutors with the Department of Justice have prepared charges against the somewhat notorious founder of WikiLeaks under seal. The news, first reported by the Washington Post, is described as a, quote, development that could significantly advance the probe into Russian interference in the 2016 election and have major implications for those who publish government secrets. In the court filing, prosecutors reportedly said charges and an arrest warrant for Assange would need to remain sealed until Assange is arrested in connection with the charges in the criminal complaint and can therefore no longer evade or avoid arrest and extradition in this matter. How or why Assange's name is in the court filings remains to be seen. The Washington Post says people familiar with the matter say the disclosure is true but unintentional. A spokesperson for the Eastern District of Virginia told the Associated Press and the Washington Post that the court filing was made in error and that it was not the intended name for this filing. Mueller has reportedly looked at WikiLeaks as part of the special counsel's investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 election, including the hack and publication of emails from the DNC, emails from Hillary Clinton's campaign chair, and possible communication between former Trump campaign advisor Roger Stone and WikiLeaks. The president tweeted about the probe yesterday, calling Robert Mueller conflicted and accusing him of protecting people on the other side. The special counsel's investigation is still ongoing. So far, Mueller's team has charged at least 30 people and 3 companies. They've gotten guilty pleas from some of those people, including 4 former Trump campaign aides. Rob, Jillian.
All right, Ellison Barber live in Washington. Thank you very much. Now this story, just listen to this. A homeless veteran and a couple who went viral for a heartwarming story that we followed and told you about are facing criminal charges for an alleged scam. New Jersey prosecutors say the trio made up the story that the homeless vet spent his last $20 on gas for the woman who was stranded, leading to a GoFundMe campaign that took in more than $400,000. Now, it's believed that they met each other near a casino at least a month before this campaign started. Investigators discovering text messages between Caitlin McClure and a friend reading, quote, "The gas part is completely made up, but the guy isn't. I had to make something up to make people feel bad." That was just one of numerous text messages. If convicted, they could face up to 10 years in prison. The race for Georgia governor could be called today. Counties scrambling to certify election results after a federal judge ordered some absentee ballots with mistakes be counted. That includes those with missing or incorrect birthdays. It's unclear how many votes might be affected. Republican Brian Kemp is leading Democrat Stacey Abrams by nearly 55,000 votes. In just a few hours, President Trump will honor 7 people with the nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. The honorees are Elvis Presley, Babe Ruth, late Justice Antonin Scalia, Senator Orrin Hatch, former judge and football player Alan Page, donor Miriam Adelson, and Hall of Fame quarterback Roger Staubach. The award recognizes Americans who have made a significant contribution or impact to the United States. Rob.
All right, Jillian, thanks. Democrats divided over health care. Progressive Democrats now pushing to force a vote on a single-payer system in this country, while the centrists, the moderates, refuse to support the motion over cost concerns. So is this a sign of things to come for the Democratic House agenda for the next 2 years, a split party? Here now to debate that is Republican strategist Amy Tarkanian and Democratic strategist Antoine Seawright. Guys, thanks for coming on. Happy Friday. Antoine, want to start with you.
Happy Friday.
Where are the Democrats on health care at this point in the House?
I think you have a mixed bag of ideas within the caucus right now, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Look, at the end of the day, what is most important is that when we take a vote, whether it's on the policies that some of the new members want or whether it's on the policy that some of the more seasoned members want, at the end of the day, we must be together lockstep on trying to fix a broken healthcare system and do the opposite of what the Republicans want to do, because that's why Democrats were elected so heavily up and down the ballot, because the American people want to deal with this thing called health care, and the Republicans refuse to not do so.
Okay, well, the Democrats want to deal with it, but Amy, I would ask, what's the point of passing a bill in the House when the Republicans have the Senate and the presidency?
Precisely. I was just going to bring that up. Now, in the House, of course, it's great to have all ideas brought to the table, and we will definitely see this being brought forward. However, I do agree that with the Republican-controlled Senate, it's not going to go anywhere. When California alone was taking a look at single payer just for their state, it was in an analysis brought forward that it was going to be up to $400 billion, which is not feasible or sustainable. So it's a losing argument.
Amy, you assume that at the end of the day, the bill is going to, you don't know what the bill will look like. And I think it will be political malpractice for the Republicans to automatically say, we're going to kill any bill that comes from the House Dems. Right. That's why we saw the numbers we saw at the polls, because their argument was always anti what the Democrats want in health care, and the American people said something different.
Let me show you guys the numbers here. This is just a prediction from George Mason University, what this would cost. We've seen this number before, $32 trillion, over $32.5 trillion over 10 years. Now, Antoine, a lot of people on your side argue that if you take the pile of money that we as Americans spend on health care in every form over 10 years, that $32 trillion is actually less. Is that right?
Rob, what I'm saying to you and Amy here on the other side is that you all are making an assumption that at the end of the day, the bill that comes out of a Democratic Congress will be Medicare for all. What I know, particularly the members that I'm close to in the caucus, they want a bill that will reflect what the American people want. Democrats and Republicans, they want to do what's in the best interest of all people. Naturally, there are some in our caucus who have a different constituency who do want Medicare for all, but I'm not convinced that is going to be the bill brought to the floor that takes a hard vote.
Amy, one argument against Medicare for all is that when you take the profit motivation out of healthcare, the reason that healthcare is so expensive, this country innovates and creates a lot of the healthcare that saves lives all over the world. If you take that profit motivation out of it, will you lose the innovation? Because why are people going to go out there and try to cure diseases and create new medical equipment if you can't do it and get a yacht in the end, I guess?
Right. I caught a video that was put together by City Journal and John Stossel, and I recommend people to look that up and watch it. And they point out how maybe they make suggestions like there'd be more competition between the hospitals, because right now there's a bit of a monopoly there. That we take the healthcare insurance away from the employers, giving more power to the individuals to pick and choose what they need. So there are definite changes that need to be made. You know, we had a Republican Congress that wanted to do a full repeal of the Affordable Care Act. That didn't happen. And now you've got those on the left that Okay, well, that may be true, but I think that right now we need to take a step back and actually fix and repair the certain parts of the Affordable Care Act that are fixable in order to move forward.
Go ahead, Antoine, go ahead.
Amy, would the Republicans not support a bill that would protect pre-existing conditions? Would they not support a bill that would expand Medicaid in states where Republicans did not?
That's a talking point. That's a scare tactic talking point.
Republicans do say they want to support pre-existing conditions. The Democrats say they don't. Guys, we got to leave it there. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Nice backtrack, Amy, with Las Vegas behind you. We like that. We'll see you guys later. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Kamala Harris under fire for drawing parallels between ICE and the KKK.
I see no.
Are you aware that there's a perception?
Puts ICE in the same category as the KKK.
Back 2020 presidential hopeful Democrat Senator Kamala Harris sparking controversy for drawing parallels between ICE and the KKK.
Are you aware of the perception of many about how the power and the discretion at ICE is being used to enforce the laws?
I see no.
Are you aware that there's a perception?
Puts ICE in the same category as the KKK.
Okay. Carly Shimkus with Fox News Headlines 24/7, Sirius XM 115, is here with a lot of online backlash to this. Hey, Carly.
Hey, good morning, guys. So you just witnessed a heated moment between Senator Kamala Harris and the acting head of ICE, Ronald Vitiello. Vitiello had just finished apologizing for a tweet he sent out in 2015 where he said the Democratic Party should be renamed the Neo-Klanist Party, thus sparking a conversation about the KKK, where Senator Harris drew parallels between how Mexican immigrants might feel about ICE and the KKK. So that's how Senator Harris feels about the government agency. Now let's get on to the GOP's response. Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel tweeting, Kamala Harris is trying to launch her 2020 campaign off of comparing ICE officers to the KKK, and it's absolutely disgusting. Kayleigh McEnany, we all know her and love her. She says, this is appalling. 2020 hopeful Kamala Harris is just comparing ICE to the KKK. What utter, complete, and horrifying disrespect for our law enforcement officers. I get she's auditioning for 2020, but come on. And Gary on Twitter also writing, agreed, shameful and bombastic to make that comparison, total grandstanding for the cameras. So the partisan battle over ICE, guys, continues.
Boy, that's a really big statement. We've seen a lot of this. People wearing the MAGA hats. It's a dangerous thing to do these days.
Yeah, so a man from Arizona says he landed in the hospital after he was wearing a Make America Great Again hat. Jonathan Sparks is his name. He says he was walking around downtown Tucson encouraging people to vote for Republican politicians ahead of the midterm elections when somebody grabbed him from behind, ripped off his hat. He says he wound up with his ankle being broken in 4 places. So here we go again, guys. This hasn't stopped. Carol says there is no excuse to physically assault someone over politics. And another Twitter user, Cindy, chiming in saying, and we as adults are supposed to be setting the example to youngsters of not harming others just because they are different. We are not doing a good job. We are failing them. Police arrested Daniel Zarios Brito on robbery charges, but additional charges could be filed.
You'd have to be crazy to wear that hat in New York City. I can tell you that much.
Unreal. I don't think I've ever seen anybody wear it here.
No,
you're right.
And you probably won't. All right, Carly, thanks so much.
Thanks a lot, guys. All right, get ready, set, shop. Pre-Thanksgiving sales start today. Amy Sewell is here with the best deals and steals before you kick off your holiday shopping.
But first, let's check in with Steve Doocy to see what's coming up on Fox and Friends. Hey, Steve.
Why do people shop now? Isn't that what Christmas Eve is for?
Just shop all the time. That's fine.
Come on, yo. Coming up on our program, from the White House, Kellyanne Conway, special advisor to the President of the United States, is going to be joining us. We got lots of things to talk to her about. The Florida recount, what's the deal with the missing money for the wall in the Senate budget, that and so much more. Plus, we've got House Majority Whip, Steve Scalise, who soon will be the Minority Whip. We've got Diamond and Silk, as you can see right there. And because it's a Friday, Geraldo Rivera. We've got a busy 3-hour show. Kicks off about 15 and a half minutes from right now, right here on the channel everybody trusts for their morning shopping.
Shopping and news.
And that's all. All right.
Thanks, Steve. We'll see you in bed.
You bet.
All right, we're back now with a Fox News alert. At least 66 people confirmed dead at this point, and now 600 missing as wildfires pave a path of destruction in California.
Just awful. The president will get a firsthand look at the devastation tomorrow. Todd Pyro is live in the studio with new images from the disaster zone. Todd?
Yeah, Robin, Jillian, the numbers staggering, the reality heartbreaking.
Our hope is that if there are missing people, we can find them and bring some closure to people that need that.
And the images, of course, beyond belief. The search for remains and for the missing continues again today, with the president scheduled to visit with some of those impacted by the devastation. Details on the time and place have yet to be determined, but President Trump says he has spoken with California Governor Jerry Brown to let him know he is ready to help, quote, all the way. Meantime, check out the absolute massiveness of the fire seen from space. Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke on the ground in California saying the nation needs to come together now.
It's unsustainable to have this happen year after year, or have a season like this where you have 100,000-acre fires becoming routine. We're a great nation. This is not a Republican or Democrat issue. This is an American issue, and we should address it as such.
Governor Brown adding that a sea change in how we think about the potential for these fires is absolutely vital.
Going forward, we are going to have to take a lot of steps that aren't so easy. We're going to have to manage our forests better. We're going to have to build our cities more smartly. We're going to have to build shelters so that people can escape when these terrible fires get out of hand. And yes, we're going to have to deal with climate change.
Now, there's also the health risk from smoke throughout the area, including children, the elderly, and those with existing health problems, as well as those with asthma and lung disease. There is not really a positive end in sight anytime soon. Yes, the weather may be changing, guys, but that huge number, 600, very frightening.
And it just jumped up out of nowhere. It was like 130, and now it's 600. It's unbelievable, Todd. Thank you so much. We're going to continue to follow that.
All right, and now we're going to lighten things up a little bit because the holiday shopping season is underway with some of the hottest deals rolling out today. So where can you find them?
The founder of Shop with Style, Amy Sewell, is here to break down the best Thanksgiving week deals. Shopping early.
Absolutely. Black Friday isn't really the thing anymore because many of those deals start much earlier.
And they're online, a lot of them, too.
Exactly. So I worked with several companies to put these ideas together. You can always get great deals on gaming systems this time of year.
So it's funny because my 11-year-old cousin, I said, what do you want for Christmas, Chase? And he said, PlayStation gift cards. And I was like, PlayStation is still a thing that kids are doing? I just haven't heard of it really in a while. But it's back, and here it is.
Yeah. And GameStop has more than 30% off this PS4 Spider-Man bundle. Now, this is from the 18th through the 26th. This is only $199, and you can get it in store and online at GameStop. Wow.
Really? All right.
Great deal for that.
The PlayStation. Yeah,
the need for speed.
Yes. We're all getting very excited about 5G rolling out next year, of course. And with the super fast downloads and streaming that comes with that. And Motorola is making it very easy for you to be ready to go with that with their Moto Z3 phone. This actually uses their Moto Mod system where you buy the phone now, then when 5G is out, you just buy the Moto Mod to snap on the back, and you're good to go with 5G. This is the first 5G upgradable smartphone. This is the same technology that Motorola uses for other accessories with their phones, like cameras and projectors and other things. Even better, this is 50% off through the end of the year. It's only $240, and you can find it exclusively through Verizon.
How long until we see 5G coming?
It'll be sometime next year. We really don't know, but this is what you're going to be ready to go with that.
That's interesting. Okay.
All right, so the photos, the albums, always a nice touch.
Yeah, this is the time of year you're starting to think about those greeting cards. And this weekend, Shutterfly has 50% off all of their cards and stationery. So it's a good time to go ahead and get those ordered and be ready to send those out. They also have 30 to 50% off everything else, like their photo gifts and my personal favorite, the photo books like we have here. So great time to go ahead and get those taken care of this weekend.
Okay.
And for those poor kids out there, toys that teach. You don't want to learn when you got to have fun, right?
Oh, but
I guess maybe you have to.
You can do it with a robot. That's a whole lot more fun. This is Augie. This is Augie that we have here. He is the first kids robot that uses augmented reality to teach kids how to code.
Is this him right here?
Yeah, that's him. And this is from Pi Technology. They also have a lot of other STEM toys that teach kids about everything from ocean life to electricity. Augie is 30% off at Target. From Thanksgiving through the 26th, he's only $139.99. And these other toys are 30% off at Staples from the 18th through December 1st. So great time to pick those up.
And we always know, especially around Black Friday, people look to buy TVs.
Yes. And Best Buy has great deals. We have a 43-inch Samsung 4K UHD smart TV that we have here. This is $277.99. That is all. Now, this is from Thanksgiving through the 24th. The other thing I love about this is not one of those limited quantity doorbusters. They have a really good supply of these on hand.
That's
so
good.
It should be pretty easy to find that at Best Buy. And again, you can either get that in-store or on their website.
Remember when the Flatties came out and they were all like $5,000?
Exactly.
How crazy
Well,
that was. And now you can get them for a song.
Were they plasma first? Was that what came out
I don't
first?
know, but I remember how expensive they were, and it was just such a bougie item, and now it's $200. It's
Exactly.
crazy.
Great time to pick up a TV.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Amy. Thank you. Happy shopping.
You too.
All right, 53 minutes after the hour, and you thought...